Same division, different pools. We just got to look at Niners who locked in the top cut inside of their pool, but now we look across the pond over in the Southeast Division A with Penn State going up against Shenandoah to take a look at their competition crews. I'm so excited. This is going to be a great matchup for a match of first place.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, we had to wait a little bit, but this is the match we've been waiting for all night. Penn State versus Shenandoah, like you said, and a match for first place. It's going to be a really good one between these two teams. They both secured top cut spots already. So really, it's just going to come down to who wants that first place spot. And it's really just for bragging rights at this point, and also kind of this will help towards placement towards the end of the year for seeding as well.
It is definitely, as we take a look at the head-to-head for this matchup, Jesse. Both of these teams, coming in almost similar inside of the scoreline. 8-0 for Penn State, 8-1 for Shenandoah. You got that one match kind of on top of Shenandoah right now, but it's a loss to Concord. Aside from that, when you're looking at across the numbers for everything else, Penn State, they have the number up, or they have only one loss in S&D throughout the whole regular season.
And that one loss to an S&D, also to Concord. So clearly Concord, the one team that's really come in this division outside of Penn State and Shenandoah to really make some waves, to really kind of bother some teams here. And when you're looking overall at this entire thing right now, I mean, that Penn State has had an incredible start to this season, 8-0, like you said. I think it really just kind of comes down to who is going to pop off today, though, because both these teams, whether or not that Shenandoah has lost to Penn State or not, or sorry, whether or not Shenandoah has lost already to Concord, it doesn't really matter coming into this one. What really matters is who's going to win this matchup between these two teams, because that team will then be pretty much guaranteed first place inside of this division. And I mean, Shenandoah, they might have a few more map losses on their record, but they 100% absolutely can come out here and upset Penn State today.
We're going to shake this all up. Like you said, this match means everything at the end of it right now. But let's take a look at our home team for the night, Penn State. We've seen them a lot on the A stream these days. It's Shades, Tased, Epics, it's Johnson, a quad squad that just look like they are ready to dominate the Southeast Division.
And two names on this board immediately stick out to me, and it's the same two names I will say every single time I see this Penn State roster, and that is Taze and Shades. Both these players have been absolutely incredible so far this season. They were great last season. The duo continues to run wild inside of CCL. They've absolutely been running things up for themselves. They're constantly the top slayers on this team. Johnson has really stepped up in a big way this year for this team as well. But those two players, I mean, you really can't go wrong with Taze and Shades on this Penn State roster.
At this point, I mean, we've seen already like the best out of Penn State, Jesse. I guess like looking at this, the only thing we can see to improve out of this roster going into this series is just consistency at this point, moving into that top cut. And I think that if anybody's going to look most consistent throughout the Southeast, I think this is one of the teams.
Yeah, I definitely couldn't agree more. I think your only little bit of inconsistency that you get sometimes out of Penn State from this league and other leagues that we've watched in is Epics sometimes. So I think like when you hit towards that second stage, Epics needs to be that player on this team who's going to step up and just kind of hit that next form as well with the rest of this team once they go up against the other top cut competition, if they want to be able to compete at the highest level, and you know they do.
Well, let's take a look at one of these other top cut teams. Shenandoah sitting across the table, looking to steal first place in the division right out from under Penn State. You got Toxic, you got Helpless, you got Sid and Steve-O to round out this roster. Immediately, you're looking at two players in Steve-O and Toxic, who are the main slayers of this roster that can step up to this role and really lead their way.
And one person I really need to step up on this roster is Sid today. Sid, against other top teams so far, has been their weakest link on the Shenandoah roster. If Sid can step up today and play to the highest level that Shenandoah needs him to be playing at, that's when this roster will pop off. That's when this roster will really be able to compete with the likes of Penn State.
It's going to be interesting as well. I'm wondering what form of Shenandoah we're going to be seeing, Jesse, because last week when we had this squad on the stream, it was Steve-O who in fact snuck into one of the top plays of the week, sitting at top 3. So I'm curious to see if Steve-O can hit that form again and maybe bring it to Penn State right now. But let's look past these teams. Let's look into the series that we have ahead of us. A lot of Tuscan and a lot of Berlin. We're starting off on Tuscan Berlin, and then it just goes back to back to back, cycling through these two maps. What do you think about this map set that we have?
I mean, first of all, if these two teams could play Tuscan and Berlin through an 8-game series, 9-game series, I think they absolutely would. It seems to be all they want to play right now. But I actually really like this map set for the likes of Shenandoah. Berlin is one of those maps for Penn State. It's the only map they've lost inside of Search and Destroy. We talked about that. That's going to be the game too. And one of their only other super close matches this year was a 250-223 hard point on Berlin. So to see that one come in map number 4, I think it's really big for the Shenandoah roster. Another thing that we said was we did not want to see Shenandoah go up on a Gavutu control. We didn't want to see that come through because they got absolutely smoked on Gavutu control by Concord. So to see that the Tuscan come through, I honestly think this map set favors Shenandoah. But now the real question is can Shenandoah come out and play to their highest potential? That's what they need to do right now. If they can play it to that next level, to be able to take a team inside the top 10 power rankings, that's when this roster will really kind of show up on everybody's names right now. But that's going to be the tough part, is coming out and being able to take on a team like Penn State. You need to be firing on all cylinders for this roster tonight.
Oh, 100%. And to take this team down, going into that top cut is just going to excel your confidence even farther. I mean, you're looking at Shenandoah, and like the only thing looming over their heads right now is that loss to Concord. That 3-0 is going to be telling a lot. But right off the rip, we're going to be hopping into Tuscan Hardpoint as we're hopping on board with Penn State, fighting from the better sides right now. Shenandoah, they're going to have to collect some of this time and look to push out and maybe flip out this map. But Penn State, really patient for the draw right now, looking to circumference or surround this team and push as one. Already 2 off the board. It's a full 3 for 1. Toxic, the last alive, is able to take down Taze, but already Penn State break in so early.
Really enjoy how Penn State chose to take that opening break off. A lot of times you see both teams just make a full all-out push towards the monument side of the map, towards where that bomb normally is. And both teams, instead this time, Penn State, they decide, hey, you know what, we're just going to slow this down. We don't want to hit it out, because a lot of the times you'll get hit with stuns, nades, you'll be caught out early, because Shenandoah's side of the map, they get there a little bit earlier than what Penn State would have. So Penn State, they then decide, hey, let's hit through middle of the map. We can make this work. And now the trade's going in their favor. They'll actually end up splitting out the first part of this map. But the hard question is who's going to win this rotation over towards the new hill, because you have a lot of mid-map presence for the likes of Penn State, but I think a player has just snuck through to the back and help list.
I'm not sure if Shenandoah or if Epics realize that Helpless got through, is going to win the one-on-one in the inside, but then Penn State, they draw their attention back. They take care of business. They hold on to these spawns for now. Steve-O going to be over the corner. It's a 3 kills down for Shenandoah to break this setup that Penn State had locked up right off the start. They're going to be collecting time off the respawn. Penn State are able to hit this right off the bat. Taze leading the charge is going to go down to Helpless. It's a 2 for 2 inside of that feed, as Penn State have yet to be able to break this just yet. This is a good time going to Shenandoah, as now they have a 12-point lead over them and winning that gunfight onto Shade. Steve-O taping down Helpless. You got to clean up this last player, and you very well could be getting this scrap time, but no. Player number 7, Johnson, is going to keep them away as you're looking at the rotation now.
It's a really good hold, though, from Shenandoah. To be able to hold that from the front, barely allow Penn State to get any time there on that hill, along with now winning the rotational battle over towards the new hill, looking to lock down a lot of time. And just look how far away this Penn State team is spawning right now from this hill. Even if you get this player out of this position, you might now be able to win the spawns towards the bottom side of the map. This actually might end up forcing out the spawn for Shenandoah. That's a great play from Penn State.
Set nade from Taze is going to take down Sid. Here's the break from Penn State. They flip the spawns out. Now Shenandoah is spawning over towards the church, so they have a lot of ground to cover. It's like Penn State last round. Going to see if it's just as clean for the re-break. But power positions now set up for Penn State. Sid's going to slide on through Vines. Taze to drop. Shenandoah struggling to get something going right now. Finally a flurry of kills, but is it enough? Do they even want to break right here, Jesse?
I don't think you want to push this again with 14 seconds. Maybe contest with one final player and Sid here. And Sid will actually make that final contestation, be able to hop onto the point, but I doubt they get that time. Yes, Epix wraps back, gets the final kill, so no time will go to either team in these back 10 seconds here, and it's virtually a tie game as we head to P4. There's a big kill in the back for Shades. He's going to lock down spawns now for Penn State.
Yeah, you also have a pinch forming from Epic. Sid sniffs that one out. Shenandoah with the setup on the inside. 3 players alive. Here comes Penn State, surrounding them at all angles. Taze from above. It's 2 down. Make it 3. The break looking clean again. Steve-O drops their in so surgically, Jesse, as this is looking good for the breaks for Penn State. 34 seconds inside this church. You're looking at Shenandoah to break once more, but losing out on a lot of players while this is happening.
that's 2 hills in a row now where you've had Shenandoah set up early inside the hill. Everything's looking good, but then you get one spawn, one gunfight in the back of spawn that goes the way of Penn State. They get the close spawns, and as soon as they're able to reinforce the hill early and often, that's when you are going to start running into problems against this team. Penn State now at the end of this hill, they should be able to guarantee themselves around a 20-point lead. Heading over towards Command Center. Right now, it really looks like we might just have a one-on-one for the initial time, but reinforcements from both sides should be there early.
You know, usually at first, Jesse, you don't normally see a lot of time collected inside this hill, but lately, we've been seeing teams find the setup necessary to make it happen. This time around, Penn State looking so strong in the respawn. They do have the early break into this, but fighting back are going to be Shenandoah to clear out those remaining players. In comes Taze for the contention, snaps onto Helpless, deletes him outside of this hill. A lot of time to play for right now. Still a 20-second lead. Taze is going to take control of this staircase. Half the crossfire set up for the rest of the Shenandoah players that are flooding on in, and they are dropping like flies, Jesse. These last couple players looking to keep Penn State off of this hill, and with that kill from Sid, that might just well deter Penn State from going in again, but you are going to have a fight still for the scrap.
Wait for the scrap will continue to ensue, but even more so importantly, with 10 seconds left on this hill, will be the fight for P1. And really, now there is only one player over there for Penn State. Everybody else coming off spawn, so Shades has a big job to do. He finds one, and he can't get the second on Stevo as well. So realistically, got a 2v2 for initial time on this hill. As soon as Tazed falls as well, this should be initial time going the way of Shenandoah.
Last time, it was a split 50-50, Jesse. Inside this first set, Shenandoah once again going to get this initial time, but it's Sid all alone on an island while Epix is picking off their teammates one by one from the respawn. 5 in a row for Epix as well. Maybe looking to lock down some kill streaks for the rest of this Tuscan. 6 in a row. Strafing run going to be underway. Glide bomb up next. There it is. 7 in a row for Epix, looking for maybe number 8, but Helpless in no position to take this hill whatsoever. Penn State flawless into the second set so far.
Oh, he asked for Epix to step up against those other top teams as well. He's doing so right now. 9 in a row. A great job by him. He finds full streaks. Will finally end up falling here, but the damage is done. This should be a good hold here for Penn State. What was that? Around 30 seconds gained on this hill, and they've got the rotation locked down. Going towards P2, going back towards the columns. Shades has this entire side of the map watched right now with an automaton and a pistol in hand, and he'll find another one. So this is just going to keep these Shenandoah players spawning out further, force them to have to push through the small choke points of the middle of the map, and that just allows the rest of your SMGs to run rampant and for you to be able to hold on to a good amount of time here on this hill. Now, note, Shenandoah did get a good hold on this hill fighting from the front last time, but they were in a much better position right off the initial hit.
Epix finds Toxic. Helpless is going to get into the hill, but for how long? Snaps back around. He's on the hunt right now, but has some help. Helpless actually finesses his life for a little bit, allowing Shenandoah to be in a numbers advantage for this retake at the moment. Taze down to 9 HP. Waiting for the reinforcements to come in through. Shades locks down 2 on the outside. In for the contention. He goes. Helpless all alone, and it's going to be Penn State coming away with the kills.
Rotations back over to the Fountain Hill. It's going to be largely looking like Penn State have a good setup right now. Realistically, if you're Shenandoah, you can't allow them to get another full 60 here. If you do, this is when this game can get really, really out of reach. That's a big first kill to find that player down on the bottom of the roofs, because now player 1 has a gunfight against Epix here for the close spawns. Epix wins it out, but the spawns come in before he wins it out, so that should give spawns to Shenandoah on the bottom side of the map.
You got Johnson on such a godheady. Locking them down, though, off those respawns, and you take your eyes over to the minimap, you can see just how far Shenandoah now have to travel. 3 go down once more. 192 and still 30 seconds to collect, and they are still spawning over by Church, Jesse. With this spawn in 25 seconds, there is no way they need to hit this. It needs to be perfect hardpoint from here on out from Shenandoah.
I mean, there's no way that you need to hit this, but you kind of do need to hit it, though. You kind of need to make sure you don't allow Penn State to get any closer to being able to win. You need to make sure they get them off this hill. But now here comes the problem. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, because you hit it one more time, but now you give the spawns going to Penn State towards the new hill once again, and Penn State are 40 seconds away from closing this game out here.
It's a gamble, but now you're down 100. Chill popped. Sid hops in for time. You look at the blue arrows surrounding this church, and it is going to be a deadly hit once it ensues. They'll still ring it out for Shenandoah. They find 3 to keep control of this church, but again, still Penn State spawning up over towards that P2 side of the map. So able to reinforce this hill once more. Taze from up top, locks down 2. There's the break. One last. Sid's going to go down, and Penn State into church.
just feels like as soon as Penn State want to get a break, as soon as everybody sets up to get a break, that's when this team is on their best. Breaks have come so easy and so often for this team in this map number 1.
Oh.
And Taze is continuing to do his job inside the middle. Yeah, can't win on this hill if you're Penn State, but you can get very, very close to being able to put it away. And look at the 3-man rotation coming in right now. Everybody moving over to command center. They want to win this game and put it away here.
Helpless is the only one here. You need teammates right now. If you're Helpless, he's going to go down. Taze now 6 in a row. Strafing run on board for this player. Closes the door on them. 2 HP. Finesse their life against Steve-O. Another one bites the dust. 7 in a row. Glad Bomb going to be locked down. 10 seconds left, and they are dropping to the hands of Taze. 9 in a row for the deadly SMG of Penn State. 3 more seconds left. The nail is going to be drilled into this coffin. And Penn State with a statement map number 1 on Tuscan Hardpoint.
And you knew that Penn State wanted to come out and win that game. It was very close through the initial first couple of hills, and I honestly think that was more so just Penn State playing their right game at the right time, as opposed to Shenandoah really playing strong off the start there. Because realistically, Penn State, they did give up a little bit of time on that P2 hill by going and contesting P1, by not allowing them to get a good amount of time on that first initial hill, and which kind of came back to bite them a little bit in the butt. But it just felt like every single time, as soon as Penn State got the spawns, they were able to break in so easily. The breaks were just way too easy there. Shenandoah did a great job in the first set of rotations of always having the spawns on lock, always being the first team to the new hill, but they could just not hold a hill to save their lives.
No, they couldn't. And honestly, winning in the way that they did, Jesse, with such a sizable lead, it just goes to show the skill that Penn State have in their division. I mean, these are 2 teams who are already qualifying for the top cut inside their pool, are going to have to play against other teams of their level, and to be beaten out 250 to 127 inside the hard point, that is just not a good showing for Shenandoah when you're fighting for first place. And immediately when you're looking at it, I mean, you can't really call out any of these players on Shenandoah. They're all playing to the same level of consistency. It's just everybody on Penn State are playing one step ahead of them.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more with you. And I think the big player that stands out to me right now on Penn State, and we asked for a step up here against other top teams, and it's Epics, almost leading the way in terms of slaying for this roster. 26 and 18 was one of 2 players on the team to find a 9 spree throughout that game. Yeah, he only did 2,600 damage, but he's running a sub. He did his job inside of that game.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, that 9 spree he found through the middle of the map really turned that map into the favor of Penn State. It really helped them get a good chunk of time there, which then built up that lead, which towards the end of the game, that's why Shenandoah had to keep giving up time and having to keep trying to rotate. And they put them into that situation where you had to play perfect Call of Duty once you got that big lead. And I don't even remember seeing Penn State even have to invest the streaks inside of that game. They got it done with the guns. They got that job done absolutely. It was a very, very strong map number 1 performance out of Penn State. But now we head to Berlin, and statistically, this is the only map that they've lost so far inside of the game. This is your best chance of taking a map if you're Shenandoah, in my opinion. And it's going to come on this Berlin map.
Oh, but that was how many weeks? That was back in
week 1
from Penn State versus Concord. You have to imagine that those changes have already been made for this Penn State roster. This isn't going to be an easy map to win for Shenandoah just because they lost it one time in the past. So realistically, if you're Shenandoah, you need to look at some players to step up to go toe-to-toe with these players. Most importantly, the SMGs. Yes, Berlin is definitely going to be a very long-distance map when you're pulling in those first bloods, but when you're on attack and you're on defense, Shenandoah, they are going to need to watch those lanes and make sure they're shutting down these quick, agile Penn State players.
It's tough. It's really, really tough to say, right? Because I mean, if you're Shenandoah running subs, it might be able to be a thing for success. But I honestly don't know if that's how you even really want to play against this Penn State roster. I don't know if you want to be playing quick and heavy and playing to their game and search and destroy. I really think you kind of want to.
You don't even have to.
I think you want to slow things down, though. I think you maybe even pull out, do like a 2AR sniper and maybe 1 SMG setup. Just play for retakes. Don't give up your lives initially. Because I think Shenandoah's recipe for success in this S&D is to find that pick early on and then just play around having the numbers advantage. We saw it earlier on today on Bravo when we were in our first matchup. It was every single time you saw JCSU get a man advantage, they were able to close the rounds out against High Point. And that was a map where we did not think by any means that they were going to lose that search and destroy. So you're not wrong at all in saying that they had a lot of time to be able to make adjustments and be able to make these fixes. But I still stand by the fact that I think this is Shenandoah's best chance of being able to take a map against Penn State.
For sure. It will be their best chance inside the whole thing. I mean, you're going to a Tuscan control, which definitely is your better out of the two controls, but there's only 2 maps to go to for that one. This needs to be where you step up for Shenandoah, and I totally back you with that. I mean, I'd like to see them slow this one down. You have the opportunity to go to the B site, get those post plant setups, and really put Penn State to the test when it comes to open water. In the meantime, you have to be aware of Penn State on their quick attacks, because this team will definitely try to keep that pressure on. This team will definitely try to be up in you. So that slow pacing, it needs to pay off. You're going to need to see somebody watching these lanes.
Speaking of watching lanes, you just saw 2 players cross over to A if you're toxic, and that should be the call, just to let Helpless know, like, hey, yo, B should not be that contested right now. It's really only Epix who is here, but Helpless not putting this bomb down yet. I'm sure he hears this player jumping around outside of the hill, but bomb will go down on site now, and you've got a pretty decent post plan setup right now, set up for the likes of Penn State. You can break those doors, watch this bomb from the back warehouse, and right now Toxic is just watching the cross, making sure nobody gets into the back line. Then he'll probably push up to the back of the warehouse to really try to hold this down.
Yeah, first thing first for Penn State is you need to take control of that warehouse. This bomb's going to be almost impossible to be defused if you don't have that in your hands, and step 2 is going to be finding these kills. Steve already making it so hard. Helpless going to peek out to find a third, and it is a flawless round number 1 at a Shenandoah, not even dropping a player.
And that's Penn State off the start. They sent 2 players over towards that A side of the map, and it just really hurts when you get a full 4-man hit going over towards the B side of the map. And like I kind of called out, if you were Shenandoah there, you saw the cross off the rip there. Toxic watched all the players cross, or those 2 players both cross, and that just gave them full confidence in hitting towards that B site right off the rip, and they knew which way the rest of the Penn State players would be coming from. They were able to shut that down immediately. So a good round 1 win there, a flawless round 1 win, and Steve-O already on 3 in a row here for Shenandoah. Now heading into round 2, it's a very similar looking offense and defense right now, because you've got nobody at the B site right now for Shenandoah. Steve-O can watch this cross, but he's got a sniper, not going to hit the shot, and this should give clearance to get this bomb down at B.
I think he's just lucky that he only got a nice fade out of that. The fact that he stays alive is going to be huge for this retake, but you need the sniper to find an opening. And Taze is already making it so hard. It's going to push this line all the way up. It's going to force these players of Shenandoah to turn around. Player number 4 on Shenandoah has slipped into this warehouse, but they're all over the place right now. They don't have anybody in really a strong position to find a kill. Taze is going to double down into this round, take down Steve-O this time. Still nobody on Shenandoah has made a move for this bomb. Finally, Helpless is going to go there, but Johnson drops him. Toxic last alive as Penn State, they bounce back with a round that's looking just as flawless.
Yeah, the retake just took way too long there for Shenandoah. I mean, if you're Toxic, yeah, you're stuck in a 1v3 here. You're just going to kind of play your life at the moment. No reason to give up another kill, but Epix will hunt you down anyways for Penn State. Like you said, just another clean round out of an offensive team. Get that bomb down at B. And now I think the real question is who's going to be the first team to really be able to shut down that hit over towards the B side, because clearly that's where this bomb is headed through these first 2 rounds. You need to make sure you maybe allocate a few more players over towards that side of the map, so it's just not so easy for the offense to get that bomb down immediately. We'll see what adjustments come through, because I mean, we all know S&D, it's a game of adjustments. You learn from your opponents what they like to do and how you can stop it. And usually, if you can find a way to stop it, that's how your games will be able to be one of exactly the same defense coming out of Penn State off the start of this round. Toxic spots out the cross once again. He sees both players and only one player in Epix once again inside over towards this B site. I mean,
don't think I've ever seen a sniper inside train station like that. At least that aggressive. The bold move at a Shenandoah. Penn State were aggressive. That might have costed you, but the sniper's going to rotate over to B, and Penn State, by now, you should probably understand that this isn't an A hit.
Yeah, but the issue is you really haven't seen anybody towards B yet either. That's the big problem right now. So they can't really allocate rotating those players off of A, because that's exactly what they want. Now, because Steve-O finds this first blood, now you're going to start to see these Penn State players start to make their way over. Unfortunately, Epix will fall as well inside. Bomb should go down quite easily here. Taze does get one back with a nade. So it's going to have to be a 2v3 retake, in which, I mean, they tried to 4v4 retake this before, and it did not work out for them.
Taze slips in before the doors go down. Sid's for the trade. 2v1. Shades has to know that you got to take down Sid outside on those docks, and Most notably, Toxic's going to be up inside that top warehouse area. Sid's going to go down. Shades now in a 1v1. You need to know where this last player is. It's a very common spot for the post plant, but Shades walks right out into the open. Gun at their side. And that's going to push Shenandoah up another round.
It's just that post plant setup. It's so hard to break once you get players locked down in the right spots in this back warehouse and you get those doors broken. It is just very, very tough to break that setup in general, yet alone in a 2 versus 3 situation. So Penn State, I stand by what I said in the last round. I think you need to start allocating a few more players over towards B off the start of these rounds, so you can't just get run through like this. You can't let the bomb plant be that easy on the B side of the map, otherwise that will just continuously happen to you here. And once again, we're seeing almost the exact same defense come out of Shenandoah. You can now make the rotation, but Steve-O finds one, and I think that's the big thing, is your island player on the likes of Shenandoah is absolutely insane in the likes of Steven.
I thought Penn State were going to drop another one, but Shades staying alive and making it count. Going to find Shades, allows Taze to push up and find the crossfire onto Steve-O. It's going to be numbers in the hand of Penn State. Taze recovers that bomb, and that's going to drop on the B site. Shenandoah, they don't have anything going right now.
Now you're stuck 1v3 as well. Helpless. Feeling very helpless right now, and he's going to end up falling. Penn State will close that round out, and again, Colin, it's just they get the numbers back in their favor. I think in that same situation, if you were to play that back again, I don't think Steve-O gets that aggressive again on it. He got a little bit, I think, too aggressive after he found that first kill. I think once you get that, you need to just back up, play your life, play your man advantage. And then, I mean, you got to know that once a player is pushing towards that player is very likely the bomb carrier. Make that call. Have the rest of the team rotate over. You know the bomb is down. Just play your numbers after that point. But unfortunately, just did not have enough time to get everybody over to that side of the map. And once again, I think we're seeing almost the exact same defense come out of Penn State. Very clearly a set strat here to send 2 players to A and just have 2 players play this B street. But look at this flank up through middle of the map from Steve-O.
Steve-O 1, Steve-O 2. Taze, no idea. And still alive in the back there. Epic's going to get some good timing, so finally taking him down, but damage has been done. Shenandoah, they haven't made the best progress over to A, but oh, I love this play right now. They're looking like they're still deciding whether they want to go to A or B. If they take down Epics, that is going to basically own this round right now, but Epics is going to even us up.
See, I don't really like that play too much. I mean, you lose the man advantage now because of this, and you've still got 2 players on Penn State running together. That bomb goes down, so they know this player is isolated out here in this site. Helpless will find one, but now in a 1 versus 2, can Epics find this trade before having to hunt down the player in the back of warehouse?
A little bit of ring around the rosy, and now it's going to pay off. Epics 1v1 Toxic sitting inside of the shed. And
we saw that.
26 seconds. There's plenty of time to make this happen, Jesse. And Toxic, are you going to be ready for this gunfight to be there? Shots going to ring out. Toxic slides on the opposite side, takes the gunfight, but it's Epics to take the lead for Penn State. Plenty of time for the defuse. Finally getting a defensive round on the board.
And in a 2 versus 4, I feel like there's a few mistakes in that round from Shenandoah there. You've got the 4-2 lead. And Steve-O, as soon as you get those 2 kills, he just goes rogue. He flies out through he tries to go into where the normal P3 would be and ends up falling immediately, gives 1 number back, and then they decide to rotate off site when you easily could have just gotten a bomb down and played off of each other inside and around that site. Instead, you choose, hey, let's just wrap back over to B. You get 1 player caught out on the wrap, and then unfortunately you get some bad timing at the end of it. Otherwise, you maybe still could have closed that round out, but still wouldn't have even had that bad timing, hence if you put that bomb down on the A side. Just a little bit of misfortunes, and those little mistakes could end up costing you against this Penn State team.
Oh, look at Steve-O. Made it all the way into the enemy line inside of offices. Taze is going to get that bomb down with first blood. Steve-O's still working around the edge, but it's a slow play from Shades. Now numbers even farther the way of Penn State as they're on their way to a 2-point advantage. Looking to put 4 on the board. Sid just the only one standing in their way. And at 1 and 4, I mean, I don't think I've seen enough out of Sid to doubt that Penn State is going to take this round. And the biggest lead we've seen so far is about to be dropped down unless Sid pulls this miracle, Jesse.
I mean, unless he's able to somehow get in here without being spotted and get an ninja defused, I don't think you're 1v4ing with 15 seconds left. He'll be able to find one, but there is absolutely no time left on the clock to be able to get this done, to be able to close this round out. And Colin, in our keys to victory, when we were looking over everything, we said that if you're Penn State, you just need to tidy up your little nuances. You've already been looking like the final boss of the division. And you basically just need to come in here, you handle business, make no mistakes. Well, I think even more importantly is Shenandoah not to make mistakes. And that mistake in the last round has now led to a 2-round advantage to the likes of Penn State, who has not lost an offense yet for themselves. Shenandoah, you finally lost an offense on your last one. You absolutely need to answer back with an offensive win here and then find a way to take a defensive win, because it has just not worked out for yourself so far. But you need to find a way to bring yourselves back into this game now, because you've already given up that advantage of just going offense for offense.
Time to turn it up if you're the Hornets. Heading over to A this time around. Steve-O for first blood through the middle of the map. Still a stack at a Penn State at A. Will the Hornets be ready for this? All 2 players going to be on the inside for Penn State. Last break. Shades for the pre-fire. Going on through. Didn't see this. Goes the nade. Oh, it's right at his feet, but Helpless does not go down to it. Just kind of trading blows right now on either side. And, oh, Steve-O actually gets dropped, so we're staying even.
See, now I think this would be a time where you want to wrap this bomb off site and you want to go over to the B site. Once you get all this information for how many players are here, this just doesn't seem like a very valid hit to go towards right now for the likes of Shenandoah. Even if you get this bomb down, you're going to have 2 players right in and around the site to shut this down. And look at where Taze is playing. He's being so quiet, so sneaky here. And as soon as this bomb goes down, Helpless is screwed. He actually gets out.
Toxic! He's got to have a sniper or something. Here comes the flank from Penn State. They got to get Toxic first. But he's absolutely slipped the lines. Trade's going to come through from Shades. Wrapping around, Johnson finds it. 1v2. Sid now to clutch up to bring Shenandoah back to a 1-point deficit on the outside of this bomb. That's actually 2 isolated 1v1s, Jesse. They may have just found the perfect timing. Shade's going to be on the inside. Sid, trigger discipline. Love this so far. 14 seconds now. Shades is going to hop the defuse. They should be able to see this. Finds the kill. That's the round.
Wow. That trigger discipline mid-round is what wins you that round for Sid. Never gives up his position and able to close the round out here. And he even finds the final kill on Johnson. Huge plays from Sid there inside of that search and destroy. I fully did think that Helpless was absolutely screwed there as soon as he put that bomb down, but he hightailed it out of that site. As soon as that bomb went down, he took no chances on anybody being inside of there. Tased was not able to get the kill in time. And I'm right there with you. I'm pretty sure that there was a sniper in Toxic's hand inside of that. And I think it was the same sniper that we actually saw in the round before, Colin, that you saw inside a train. So clearly something that they wanted to do there. Ends up working out inside of their favor that time. They just weren't really expecting the players to be sneaking their way through the back. But now comes the big question, though. Can Shenandoah win a defensive round? It's been what struggled them so far throughout this game. It's 3 for 3 for offenses for Penn State, but you need to find a way to shut this down. Toxic does have a sniper lined up towards the middle, and Helpless finds first blood through mid-map. This could absolutely shut down any push for Penn State going towards B now.
And Johnson only saw 1 crossover to A, so Penn State, they have to know that majority players for Shenandoah are going to be at this B site. Apex is going to have to clear this one out, but it's completely open for the plant. Sid drops, so we're even, but Toxic for the trade again, keeping numbers in the way of Shenandoah, and Steve-O actually sniffs out Johnson, so bomb's going to go down, but numbers in the hand of Shenandoah. 1v3 for Epics to put them on map point here inside of Berlin. They know exactly where Epics is, able to sneak away into the back. Breathe, another gunfight. Swings on out, Steve-O on the hunt. Epics is going to go down, and Shenandoah tie us up.
Yeah, there we go. Shenandoah, they answer our question. They come out, they get the defensive round win finally here in this map. They tie us up at 4-4. And Penn State, I feel like that round, there's a little bit of a mistake there. You get that bomb down, but everybody just falls around your players. You can't let that happen. As soon as your bomb planter is stuck inside sight with a 1v3, that's a round that you are never going to win. I feel like you just need to do a little bit better job of playing your life in that round there if you're those Penn State defenders. But nonetheless, we go again, round number 9, back onto offense for Shenandoah. And I mean, their last offense towards A, it did not look like it was going to work out, but a clutch play from Sid, followed by that last round, has now tied us up at 4-4. But it's going back, right back to the drawing board, right back to B, the set strat that they like to do oh so often. But Epics will be here, and Epics finds one. Can't get the second, though, so this should be bombed down now.
That would have been so big if Epics on both of those kills. But now even 3-3, you still have a player lurking. Johnson, so many explosions. It's looking like a Michael Bay film on Berlin. Oh, cook nade. Nobody's home. Swings on out. There's Johnson back on in to his little hidey hole. 3v1 now. Toxic finds Shades. Last alive is going to be tased. And just around this B site, is there anything really you can do? Find Sivo, but that's going to be information now in the hands of Shenandoah. You can see Sid to rotate back around into the warehouse for that post-plant position. Taze going to have to find both of these kills. There's number 2. Toxic going to be on the board. Spots out Sid. Goes for the wraparound, but Sid... Oh, that was so close, but Shenandoah take map point.
Probably the right play from Sid, though. You really can't afford to make the full wrap back to warehouse at that point of the round. You would have had absolutely no time to get there and to be able to watch that in time. So takes the gunfight. It's a risky one, but I don't think he would have had enough time even if he won that gunfight to get back. There's around, 11 seconds left, so it would have been close, but I don't think that Taze would have gotten there in time. So instead, he just contests him, finds the kill, wins the round out for sure. Now Penn State back on offense. Adjustments need to come in for them now because Shenandoah in these last 3 rounds, they have had your number, taking it from a 4-2 to 5-4 lead now for the likes of Shenandoah. Bomb inside B, absolutely for free. Epics will get this down, but not for free as Toxic actually takes one out in Shades. And Epics, he finds the right timing and he gets out on the cross as well.
Ooh, see, this has been costing them so often, Jesse, are these first bloods now. Shenandoah are going to be in such a confident position to retake the site. 33 seconds to make it happen. Taze finds the answer. 3v3 now on the inside. Taze just needs to live, and he's actually going to find 2 with the help of a teammate. Trade comes through, but already in a 2v2 with the post-plant set up where Johnson is. This is almost looking impossible to retake. Penn State looking to push us to around 11. And Epic just has to find his time right now. Shot's going to be there. Set nade from Johnson. Takes out Toxic on the inside. There's no time to make it happen, Jesse, so we're going the distance on Berlin.
I'm trying to do the math really quick as well, just trying to figure out who has that final lead. I see 22, 28 kills for Shenandoah. I couldn't get it off in time to count the numbers on Penn State, so we'll just have to wait and see who ends up getting this final defense here because it goes for whoever has more kills. We'll get the final defense, but I don't even know if getting the final defense is an advantage here right now, Colin, because this game very much so has been all offense. We've only seen 2 defensive round wins on either side throughout this entire game so far, and it will be Penn State getting the defense. So unfortunate for them, they end up leading in kills at the end of 10 rounds, so they get this final defense. Now they got to find a way to get the job done here. And I like this strat, though, coming in from Penn State. They're going to actually allocate a few more players over towards this B site than what we've seen them do in any round so far up to this point.
But Shenandoah are just kind of neglecting them or negating them of information right now. They're sticking to the inside of mailroom, and they're not allowing Penn State really to set up comfortably. They're just keeping them guessing.
Right. I mean, if you're Penn State, you don't move, though, right now, right? Like, Shenandoah very much so is just playing for a pick off the start of this round. Even Epic's there. He throws a shoulder, throws a couple shots, but backs right up. I'm going to be very interested to see what Steve-O does in this round because Steve-O kind of gets impatient sometimes, so we'll see what he wants to do here. But he just needs to make sure, even if he gets impatient or if he pushes up a little bit too far, he needs to make sure he's got teammates following him up.
It's a very careful game right now. Nobody wants to make the first move. Penn State, they just need to stay still, and Shenandoah eventually going to have to make a shot to this B-side. Johnson spots him. Damage on a Sivo. Epic's waiting for the call. Waiting for the timing, but Sivo reads it. Epics, who does the same thing every round, is going to get caught. Johnson now forced to make this play, is going to find the trade, but Sivo again keeping numbers in their hands. They know Shades is on the outside. Sivo's just going to hop on this bomb, and they're going to get it down. Taze is now forced to make this play. Takes down the bomb once more. 9 seconds left. Shades just has to play this time. 1v2, Jesse. Full time planted. They don't, so Shades just needs to stay alive back here. He's going to find the first snaps over to the second stage. Just hit the deck. Oh, my God. Penn State, oh, my word. I can't believe they did that.
They stopped the bomb from going down. They never let it go down, and you just had no time there if you were Shenandoah to go for a bomb plant. You didn't know where Shades was immediately, and as soon as Toxic finds this first one, all you have to do is lay down, hit the deck here. Sid would not have been able to get over there in time to find that kill. That just gave me a little mini heart attack. I'm not going to lie. I mean, just hit the deck. Literally just hit the deck. You would have been fine. They closed the round out nonetheless. They win the game.
Holy. I mean, that is
search and destroy.
Twice already, Jesse, today that we have had crazy round 11s. I mean, the first earlier on the B stream, and now here with Penn State winning that. Moments from Shenandoah tying us up 1-1. Wow, Berlin, that was a treat.
All right, so now that I've finished having that little heart attack, now that we can kind of break down that round 11 there a little bit, it really kind of comes down to the fact of you were playing for a pick if you were Shenandoah. You never get that pick, though, to open up a bomb site for you to be able to wrap onto. So then you're forced to hit a site, and Penn State just keeps throwing numbers at the site to get you off the bomb and never let you get that bomb down. And because you waited so long to pick your site that you wanted to go to, that's what ends up costing you the game at the end there if you're Shenandoah. But we can take a look at the stats here. I know I was kind of calling out Steve-O in that round. He does end up going 12 non-traded kills. But I feel like there's a couple rounds there where Steve-O, if he finds the kill and then backs up instead of flying forward, maybe win a few more rounds there if you're Shenandoah as well. So it's a blessing to have a player as good as he is on your team, but sometimes you just need to learn when that player needs to get that leash put on him.
Oh, of course. And now sitting 1 or 2-0 down, you have to be thinking in your head just like one different play out of Steve-O could have been the difference maker. But I mean, at the end there, even in that last round, Jesse, you just needed somebody to watch the bomb planner from behind. Everybody hyper focused on Dogs, but nobody's watching a sneak play from Penn State that ultimately cost them
twice. Two sneak plays there.
Crazy search and destroy that we just saw out of both Penn State and Shenandoah. It's going to be 2-0 for Penn State going into this third map. We got Tuscan coming up next. Before that, a break. We'll see you on the flip side, everybody.
Because this is in.
Welcome back, everybody, to the CCL Alpha stream. We got Penn State, Shenandoah going into map 3. But Jesse, I mean, you look up at the score, and it does not tell the story of what we just came out through for the search and destroy. I want to take a look back at these maps. Let's highlight what we've seen so far.
Well, when you look at map 1, it was I think this tells the story for what we've seen from our 2-0, because that was pure domination from Penn State. Let's not get it wrong. Very close through the first little, maybe 3 or 4 hills, but then Penn State, as soon as they started locking down rotations and winning spawns, that's when this team really took off. They really kind of just handled business in that map number 1. But that map 2, Penn State had a 4-2 lead at one point. Shenandoah wins 3 rounds in a row to bring it back, and we go to a crazy round 11. And I mean, I still am kind of shook by that last play in the round 11. You had 2 players flying out. Shenandoah took way too long to plant the bomb, and all you had to do was hit the deck, and you won the round for the likes of Penn State. It's been a crazy series so far, a very fun one to cast, but we go to Tuscan Control next, and thank God it's Tuscan Control, not Gabutu Control.
Oh, 100%. And everybody who's just tuning in might be like, why? Well, Shenandoah is sitting 8-1, the only loss to Concord. And it was a 3-0 stop on Gavitu to make that happen. So Shenandoah, one of the things that we highlighted was to avoid Gavitu. We're going to Tuscan. This should be a little bit better for them. But if doing so, we can touch back at this hard point and what we saw in that respawn and the fact that Shenandoah, they weren't doing bad when it came to slaying. Like, nobody was falling behind. They were all consistent with each other. The only thing is that Penn State were one step ahead of them the whole time.
I think everybody needs to step up as like an entire unit for Shenandoah. And with how even these two teams just played that search and destroy going to this control, I really feel like we're probably just about to go defense for defense like you see so often inside a control. But I mean, if a team can find a way to lock down that B site and then maybe even hit A after, that's when you can start to see some offensive wins come through. But I very highly doubt that we'll see that. We'll probably see A get hit right off the rip because it's the faster site you can get to on offense. And then from there on, we'll see if teams can play together and stack up together, because that is 100% the only way that you will be able to win this. If you solo push into B over and over again on offense, you are not winning a round. You need to make sure you're grouping up, hitting as a full unit of a team. That's how you can win offenses here on Tuscan. Otherwise, you will just be falling into a pit of death over and over again because of how close the defense wants to be.
I see it in CCL, I see it in CDL, and I see it in my ranked games as well for Vanguard. Solo pushing is the bane of B-Side's existence there. I mean, you just don't want to do it on attack. And in the ever so evolving control game mode for Vanguard, that is the newest game mode. You know, some teams are like practicing it or started practicing it halfway through the regular season. So since we've seen it first come into the game to now, we are seeing a lot of B-site hits develop a lot more, where it used to just be flip the map out from them. A lot of teams are opting for, like what you said, that B-site hit right off the rip. So if you're looking at whichever team starts off on attack right now, is that what you want to see? Would you like to see them come out hot with a B-site hit right off the rip?
It's so hard to hit B right off the rip, though, as well. It's great because sometimes you catch your opponents off guard, but if they even have 1 or 2 players there ready for it, the issue then becomes they're there, they can hit onto it, and they can kind of just get into a position where they will shut you down. And that's what the big situation, the big issue is if you do have players in and around the site, in and around on the top of patio, you're going to be in a rough spot to be able to hit that. Even if you get 1-for-1 traded and then only have 2 players left to hit onto it, it's tough. So, I mean, I would love to see it, just to see a curveball get thrown at one of these 2 teams, but very likely I think we'll see A hits coming in.
Very likely indeed, folks. 2-0 for Penn State. Shenandoah, they need to make the reverse sweep start here and now. Tuscan Control is on the menu. Let's see who we're hopping on board with first. It's Shenandoah for the defense, so Penn State starting the attack.
And not surprising here, you see a full all-out hit over towards the A site and over towards the middle of the map. They just want to take away map control from the Shenandoah roster, but Sid will find one right off the rip. So it's going to kind of neutralize this push, but everybody just spawns up so close and Penn State pushing forward. But look at these defensive players on Shenandoah. They are pushing so far through the map.
Hope Epic's okay, man. He just ran head first right into the fences. When the dust settles, it's 4 kills down for Shenandoah, so Penn State will be able to resurge back to the A site. They get the second take under control, working on their third, as Shenandoah looks like they're setting up for another hit towards this site, but kind of tucked away inside the church. They're going to let this go. Epics on the flank might be spoil this fun for Shenandoah. Finds 1, finds 2. It's 3 down, Jesse.
So I think the thought process there for Shenandoah is they're trying to play for exit kills. They're trying to not allow Penn State to make that through the top side of the map, and they're trying to shut them down from that. Unfortunately for them, they don't spot out the player making the push in through the back in Epics and really shutting things down, and now you need to worry about your spawn because you've got Tased and a few other players just kind of running rampant right now. Toxic will find that player in the back, so you know that you have your spawn cleared, and now everybody push their arrows forward, and everybody can start to pay attention to the front of the hill.
You can, but as they find these one-on-ones, very isolated for Penn State. Shenandoah come out on top with the early win, or with the early attack towards B. Getting up for the second wave. Got a player who's actually slipped into Pong. Steve-O looking to find this information. Gets the early shots out. Has to tip out. Calls for Sid to make this bait and switch, but Helpless comes up big with 2. For Shenandoah to absolutely shut this one down. Still some players in Penn State here to take care of. Tased and Epics be them. Steve-O's going to find Tased. Snaps over to Shades, and that should shut down this wave.
Shuts down that, but you still got a minute left for Penn State. So realistically, you got 2 good shots left to try to hit this hill. You need to group up. You need to play together to take your next hit at this one. It looks like that's what they're trying to do right now. They want to group up. They want to try to hit this from all different angles to really keep these players guessing. Epics will find a first. And if he finds the second too, it could be big, but all the teammates around him fall. So now, once again, Shades just needs to slow things down, wait for the rest of his teammates to come off spawn, and then make one final push here as a team. You realistically got only 1 shot left to hit this.
30 seconds, lives even, 14 on each side. Toxic finds the first kill. Helpless second. Shenandoah putting up the numbers right now. Tased is on the inside, stops the clock right now at 23 seconds, so it is going to be allowed to have these reinforcements there, but it's 3-tail with Tased absolutely working Sid there. He's going to have to hop off this hill, wait for the reinforcements to come through. Steve is going to push this one in, finally takes down Tased. We're looking to hop up into the patio. Epics next up for Penn State. Going to be in here. Oh no, a team nade. 10 seconds left for Penn State to make this happen, Jesse, and they only have 1 last hit. They need to go now. Shazed around the outside. Sid is going to have that gunfight to go down. And Shenandoah, they take round 1.
Not only do they take round 1, but they also finish round 1 off with a +1 in terms of lives for themselves inside of this round. So works out well into their favor. They can keep holding on to that for the time being. But now on offense for Shenandoah, I mean, if they can get an offensive round win, that's huge. But you guys got to make sure, even if you lose this round, you're not getting outslayed crazy bad by the likes of Penn State, because you only won that last round by 1 kill.
Over to A right off the rip. Steve-O draws first blood through Church. Look at the minimap. You can see that there is a flank forming from player number 4, Epics. We're losing all of these teammates. Epics needs to get in there fast. Johnson over the shoulder is going to find Steve-O. Opens up the middle of the map. Here comes the push from Penn State. Epics on the flank. Makes it happen. 4 down just like that. So clean.
Really good break back in for the likes of Penn State to really try to shut that down. And now you've got them all just pushing out, trying to get all these cutoffs through middle of the map. I think the one player that they may have missed is Steve-O, making this big flying play in through the backside of the map. And actually, I don't think they've missed it at all, because you can see two players on the likes of Penn State have turned around to go and hunt this player down. Steve-O will find one in the back, but Shades clears out the spawn. And I don't really know what good that does from Steve-O to really be able to push that up. Maybe it just makes a couple players turn around. So then now Shenandoah has some clearance to be able to get onto the A site, and this site should be captured now. I mean, at least you get one before you fall there.
Should be. Shades is going to find Helpless. Dazed with the nade. Last second nade denies the capture for now. Epic's cutting off these players to the middle of the map. A-site getting neutralized again, and Penn State right back into this position of setting up this spawn trap. Epic snaps around to Steve-O. Not going to be able to find the kill, but pinned right now. Our Shenandoah, the A-site, that third tick is completely neutralized.
Shenandoah, they'll take another shot at this now. Everybody comes off spawn. Everybody hits in towards this hill. Or in towards this A zone. And there we go. The A zone, they'll get the stack. They'll finally get the final tick through. And that will be the A zone done. But you're down 6 in lives now to the likes of Penn State. And Penn State, this is how you play for exit kills. Able to find one. Can't really find any more than that. But you've got only, but now you're down 7 in lives. Penn State's still holding on to the exact spawn that they want. You can try to push them through the top side of the map here if you're Shenandoah. But I mean, trades right now do not help you. You need to make this next hit very, very significant for your team.
You need to make it look clean. Cleaner than Mr. Clean at that, which is pretty clean. So we see Shenandoah set up. Sid's going to find Johnson in the back. Toxic 2 down. That's the clean hit that we're looking for. 3 off the board. Just like that, Jesse. Shades, last one alive inside this, is able to find one, and Shenandoah have completely flipped this out. They might not have gone to the B site, but they have the B site surrounded.
Yeah, they just need to hop on, try to stack, but the issue is you've got Penn State, so many players inside and around the command center right now, and they just realistically need to push onto this and hit it, but you've already got 2 ticks of progress, or sorry, already got almost 1 tick of progress all the way through here for Shenandoah, and the waves of kills, they come through, and this will at least be 1 tick confirmed.
Ace. Going to be the hero. No, Helpless has eyes on inside the hill, though. The teammates go big for Penn State. 3, 4, 1. And Toxic finally going to drop in the back, so they deal with pressure. 5 lives remaining for Shenandoah. Got a little bit dicey there. They get right back into things by flipping out that map and denying Shenandoah of anything significant in here. Epic's now pushed up, not able to cut off anything. Double the lives Penn State has. And all the map control that they need to take this round on board. 16 seconds left. Shenandoah just don't have the resources to make it done, Jesse.
A 7-life lead for Penn State. I don't know if it will go up or lower anymore throughout the rest of this game here. I doubt we'll see these 2 players really try to challenge anything. So really, it's just up to Shades right now. If he can find a few more, doesn't spot the head, but the kill does not ever end up coming through. So that's a +7 for the likes of Penn State after their defense. Shenandoah was a +1 at the end of theirs, so a 6-life lead now for Penn State. And just in case you're wondering why we're counting kills, it's because right now in this current build of Vanguard, kills do determine who gets that final defense. And as you can see from these first 2 rounds, defense extremely heavy on this map.
We go back to back. Both sides. Penn State back on the offense. Let's see what adjustments they make this time around. Completely open is the overextension. It looks like 2 players on Shenandoah want to flip this one out, but Penn State, they push right through the middle of the map. They overwhelm Sid. Toxic goes down as well. That's going to open up an avenue right into the back spawn of Shenandoah, and it forces these players that were setting up for the pinch to push into the middle of the map.
An unfortunate read, though, from Penn State. I think they were really expecting all those players to spawn up in the back, but they actually spawn up in church. So everybody that pushed up forward just kind of got put out of position there for those Penn State players. I respect the idea. I respect the attempt at a push there, doing something a little bit different. But unfortunately, it just does not work out too well for them. So now, main priority, let's finish off A, and then we'll try to take our hits over towards B as they come.
25-23, 2 ticks down at A. Hopefully, we can make the last little push to deny this capture. It wasn't 2 ticks on the... I'm getting fooled by these colors, Jesse. So, second tick's going to get neutralized over at A. 22-22. 43 seconds left for Penn State to get this attack under their belt.
You do have a streak for Shades as well. So, if they do confirm this A site, and I would imagine at some point in this round, you are able to confirm it here for Penn State, maybe you try to drop that streak to get some clearance onto that B site, but it's just very tough, especially with the strafing to really get a ton of value out of it, especially without trying to find your own teammates. A last-second contest comes through, and Helpless actually stops that final pick from fully going through here. So Penn State needs to give more resources and hit in towards A one more time.
Shenandoah really looking good on this defense. That's how you pick up those exit kills. You don't even give up the A site this time. Stevo is just going to push the lines, and they're going to let him off the leash now to run rampant in enemy territory. Ace finds the kill on the Toxic. That's going to open up the avenue to the B side. And look at all these players from Shenandoah. They are surging on the players who have slipped the line for Penn State. The Hornets, they take care of business. They deal with the pressure over at B. A site now. Epics looking to push that minute onto the clock. And with 9.8 seconds left as well, pushing that extra minute. Now they're going to have to go quick to get to the B site.
That was definitely a set play for Penn State. You push that one player through, get them onto B, and make a couple of those arrows on Shenandoah. Turn around, go the other way, and then you can send the rest of your players back over to A and secure the final point there. It's a great little bait play. They get the job done, but you're still down heavy in lives right now for the likes of Penn State. It's a 7-life lead to the likes of Shenandoah. And I mean, Penn State, they're doing exactly what we said you can't do on this map. They're all pushing individually and all pushing solo right now. You need to group up and try to hit this as a full team at the moment, because you are down even bigger in lives at the moment.
Oh yeah, they don't have lives, they don't have time, Jesse, and solo dolo is just not going to do it for you. You do have one player, Epics, working through the command center. Slides on in, is going to find Stevo. 2 players off the board. But off those respawns, Shenandoah, I mean, the Hornets, they are not even shook from that. They still have a chance to hold on to things. 3 players from Penn State grouping up to push this patio. Johnson holding on tight. Shades finds 3. That opens things up now for Taste to get on. Stops the clock at 7.7 seconds. You have a 4-life lead now to find this offensive round, and they're just getting kill after kill, Jesse. Shenandoah, they need to turn this one around fast because this is going. Toxic's going to find Epics, but again, Penn State, they find the kills to bounce back. Working on the second take. They got no respawns. Here comes the reinforcements from Shenandoah. Off that respawn, 6v3. Shades in the backline. Still on 6 in a row. Has those streaks. With a second left, they're going to get cleaned up, and that's going to be Shenandoah barely walking away with that defense.
Yeah, that got a little scary towards the end of that there, and I believe Shenandoah did finish off with a 4-life lead. I think if this gunfight goes the opposite way, if Epics finds this kill on the Stevo, that round could have gotten very interesting, because all the remaining 3 players on Shenandoah would have been coming off spawn, having to make one final hit into that. It definitely could have gotten spicy, but it's not going to be the case here, so Penn State still leading in the way of kills. So realistically for them, as long as they close this round out here on defense, and then they, along with continuing to lead in kills at the end of this round, they can absolutely close this game out by getting a final defense for themselves as well.
Ooh, Shades, he doesn't know where to look. He doesn't know where to look, and Stevo runs right into the front line. Take him down, helpless. Spots the flank on the Haze. Feeds the information to Toxic. Takes care of it. Hornets are going to hop onto this A side. It's going to get capped, and they don't even drop a life.
Big play from Shenandoah. Not to lose any lives there inside of that, but you do lose a few on the exits. But that's okay, though. You've got so much time to work with here if you're Shenandoah to set up exactly how you want to hit towards this B site, and this B hit could be everything. If you win this round, you absolutely are able to close this game out, but that's the hard part. We talk about it all the time on Tuscan. Hitting this B site is so difficult to do because you spawn so far away compared to where that defense spawns. We've seen it already through our first 3 rounds. Even when you get a break, the defense is immediately right back in your face. And right now, if you're Shenandoah, #1 job is to get some map control, because right now Penn State are spread out everywhere, and you really don't have much control.
It's even harder when you have Epics and Taze in the SMG role just cutting through the middle of the map and finding your kills from behind time after time. Looking for this hit now. Shenandoah only left to 2 players down towards that bottom grave side of the map. Now Sid going to stay alive. Peeks on out. 3 down once more. Minute 15 now. You've had a whole minute shaved off of this clock. Player 6, Stevo, has slipped the line, but the Hornets off this respawn. They need to set up together, and they're just not getting it going.
Well, you can see the play call now, though. It's going to be a 4-man hit through the church side of the map, and you've actually got 2 players kind of in not great positions right now, at least player 2, but now once this call comes through, this should give the heads up to Taze to fly back all the way around, and now he's actually going to be in a great spot to pinch on these players trying to push through church.
Good shots from Johnson just to hold those players on the line. See a look at this one, but just like that, they burst out. They find the kills needed. They're going to hop on the B side now. 35 seconds. Sid's going to find Shades in the back, so now they're going to flip out these respawns for Penn State, but off those respawns, you can see them get right back into business. 3 kills go their way. Toxic, the last alive for Shenandoah to hop onto the site, and you're going to need something big out of Toxic right now because the rest of these players, they are just in no way in a shape to back him up. 12 seconds left. This is going to be the last push.
I don't even know if they can really get here right now. You've basically, like you said, got one shot at trying to break into this, but you've got such a great setup looking right now for Penn State.
It looks like they're just trying to hold their lives.
Oh, I didn't see what the lives were at the end there. I was completely just looking at the map position. Maybe they had the lives at the very end there. It was decently close. We'll have to see if they had a life lead there. Maybe it might have just been smart for them to hold that. We'll have to see. And no, they did not have a life lead. So they were hoping and praying that they had a life lead at the end there. I thought Penn State may have just had the edge, and they absolutely do. Able to close it out. And now Penn State, they get the final defense here. Exactly what they wanted all game. Now they just have to replicate what they've done twice before and just win a defensive round against Shenandoah and don't let them come away with an offense.
Yeah, I was talking to Johnson before this. He said he's doing a calculus assignment. He's got math locked down right now. He knows they had that in the bag. They just need to hold their lives. A-side's going fast. Tae's trying to work on this flank. Toxic has no idea. Sid not ready for that push, and 2 kills, 4-3. Penn State still break on in, and Shades finds a big crucial kill on the Toxic.
They do finish off those 2 ticks, but now you're in the same situation you were in round number 1. Penn State can just push forward. They can keep you pinned in the back of your spawn. And now you need to make a big play for Shenandoah to try to break out of this because Penn State absolutely have you trapped right now.
Johnson finds 2. Nade on the Shades is going to take him down, but look at the damage that has been done so far. Hornets are going to have to dig deep right now to take this last round. Sid's going to hop in, stops the clock at 50, working on this last progression at the A site. Penn State's so slow to the rip. Pays for the set nade and knock them down way low. Epics on the flank. Is he going to get here in time? Finds the first one. Contention's going to be in Epics for a second. And Johnson's going to clean up Sid. So there's the break that they needed for Penn State to keep this A site in control.
Steve-O off spawn, though. He makes the wrap all the way through middle of the map, all the way through the bottom side. And what this does is actually spawns up the Shenandoah players on bottom side of the map. So they're going to make a hit going over towards B. And they want to try to just get onto the site to shut this down and make these Penn State players turn around so they can't just keep them in that spawn trap over towards A. Big heads-up play from him to be able to do that.
Oh, Toxic almost goes big for the team. Wins the fight on the back, but can't take down Taze. With that pressure, too. I mean, Penn State, they didn't budge over the A site, Jesse. Shades is still ripping them up on the opposite side of the map. You got 25 seconds left for the Hornets to stay alive in the series. Epics now wraps around Helpless. Oh, that's such a big win.
Should be able to close this site out now. Yeah, and as soon as they get that kill on player number 1, this site is secured. But now here comes the hard part. You're down 6 in lives already. You've got a minute 15, so realistically, 3 solid hits of trying to hit into this, and now down to just 2 as you lose 2 more players. You need to group back up. You've only got 8 lives left. You need to make solid hits as a team. But Penn State, they're just playing TDM right now. They're just trying to pick you off spawn.
And they can with that life lead. 15 lives to now 6. A minute left, and they don't want to let it go to time. They want to finish this in kills. Taze has control of Command Center. Player number 1, Shades, has control of Monument. No route going unchecked from Penn State right now, and it is just being locked down for the squad. The Hornets have no way in. They need to bully their way in if they're going to want a chance at taking this, but they're down to 3 lives, Jesse. Here comes Epics around the staircase, takes down Helpless. 2 players left. Toxic now the last alive, as he's going to be spotted out. Here comes the players from Penn State to win this one. Still alive for a moment, but you have to imagine that this is where he falls of his victim to the powerhouse that is Penn State. 15 seconds left. Here comes the players off the respawn. Tag down to 46. You just need 1 player to get it done, and there it is. Penn State, they take the control in round 5. They take the series in a 3-0 sweep, and they walk out as number 1 in the Southeast A Division.
A 1v10 at the end there. It would have been absolutely remarkable, but very, very unlikely for the side of Shenandoah, and unfortunately, you just weren't able to get it done there. It's very unfortunate. They were banking on the fact they had more kills going into that final round. You saw at the end of round number 4, instead of taking 1 more hit at that site, they said, hey, you know what, let's just wait. Maybe we might have the advantage in kills. Unfortunately, their calculations were just wrong. They did not have the advantage. They weren't able to push in again. Maybe they just didn't want to feed streaks to Penn State as well. Maybe it was something along the lines of that, because I don't know. I didn't think that they had the numbers. That's why I was so surprised at the end, and it clicked in my mind. I was like, oh, wait, maybe they're not pushing because they have the numbers. But no, they definitely didn't. And Penn State walks away with that final defense. And that control, a very Tuscan-like. It was all defense all the way through.
It was.
I
very
mean,
control-like for Vanguard.
I mean, you're absolutely not wrong. When you look at the stats, though, across the board, you can see exactly why Penn State was able to close it out. Everybody on the side of Penn State positive. Tased and Shades, once again, though, absolutely leading the way in terms of slaying. Almost 4,500 damage from both players, and the only player close on the other side was Toxic at 4,300.
I'm very impressed from the Penn State roster in this matchup. This is your runner-up to the division so far. This was your biggest matchup to take control of the Southeast A, and they get it done like this. Yeah, a little bit shaky in the Search and Destroy. You get pushed to round 11. A little bit shaky in the Control. You go to round 5. But, I mean, they get it done relatively smooth when it kind of boiled down to the fundamentals of this game. I mean, that Tuscan, even though they were pushed to around 5, their defenses looked like lights out. A few adjustments to their attack, and this could be a dangerous Tuscan squad.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. I think my biggest takeaway from this, though, is a missed opportunity from Shenandoah, Colin. Well, when you're looking overall at the entire series, I mean, yeah, that map one wasn't the prettiest, but that Berlin Search and Destroy absolutely was winnable from Shenandoah, and we said they couldn't make any mistakes coming into this one. And I mean, a few of those mistakes inside of that Search and Destroy really end up costing you. You outslayed by a few more kills inside of that Control, you probably get defense in the final round. So just those few small little things for Shenandoah to be able to take on a team like Penn State. And you know what? Come playoff time, they absolutely might be able to go toe-to-toe with this team. It was a 3-0, but it was a very, very tight 3-0. But all I'm saying, Colin, is I am very, very excited for this next stage of CCL. Top teams versus top teams next week is going to be so much fun. I mean, all the teams that have made it out of, I mean, even just looking at this Southeast Division, you got Penn State, Shenandoah. I believe it's going to be Concord that makes it out of that. High Point in Pool 2. Who's in Pool 3? Florida State, KSU, Mox. Those 3 teams are all going to be really fun to see go up against some of these top teams. FGCU, Barry. I mean, this Southeast Division is going to be a whole lot of fun. There's a lot of teams inside the top 25 that are vying and scrapping to try to climb their way even higher inside of it.
Well, folks, things are about to get really spicy in the CCL in the coming weeks, and I am so excited, just like Jesse, to see it happen. But that's going to be all for the night here on the Alva stream, on the Brava stream, and in total for CCL for this week, where you're going to be right here next week, same time, same place. I can't wait to see you all there. Have a great night. We'll see you next week.